And so we have a change in government. In the book of Daniel, we've talked about it this week. Now the nation of Babylon has fallen. The Medes and the Persians have come in. Darius is now the new king. And as he's setting up his government, he decides that he wants to establish 3 presidents. And they were to isolate him from the people. They were a layer to keep him directly from the people so that they would make the decisions and he would be the puppet behind them. So that if something went wrong, they would come against them and not him. It was a strategic move that was political. And of these 3 presidents, one of them was Daniel. And he made Daniel the first president. In other words, he had the most authority. And it says in the scripture here that the king so favored Daniel. This is because there was an excellent spirit in him. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. He was about to become a very, very powerful man in government. And he had enemies. And they hated him. And they did everything to try to bring him down and to destroy him. And I read that and I said, wow, that just all sounds very familiar to me. And so they came up with a plot. Because they said this, they said, we cannot bring accusation against this man because he's not done anything wrong. The only thing that we can find to accuse him of is his God and his faith. And so they go to King Darius and they say, King, for 30 days, we want you to make a decree that if anybody asks or pray to any other entity but you, O king, they're to be cast into a den of lions. And that appealed to Darius. And he signed it with a signet of his ring that says the law of the Medes and the Persians, which cannot be altered. And when Daniel heard about the decree, he goes to his house, opens the windows, and begins to pray out loud to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they brought this accusation before the king, and the king was powerless to do anything about it. And he realized the folly of his mistake, but he had to follow through. And he took Daniel and he threw him into a den of hungry lions. And the scripture says he stayed up all night praying and regretting what he had done. And at the first light of dawn, he headed back down to the lion's den. He says, "Oh, Daniel, did your God deliver you?" And Daniel said, "An angel came and shut the mouth of the lions." Now, I just got a few minutes left of today's broadcast, and I want to get this point to you. Daniel stood in faith in the midst of adversity, and God delivered him. Church, if we have hope, if we have anything to believe in, it's in the ability to believe that God is and that God will prevail and that we should not lose heart. Our God is a strong and mighty and powerful God. And there are consequences to those who rebel against him. And the church will prevail. It's Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.